Oh, we live. Good evening, everybody. Uh, Welcome to the Maximize Your Life Bible Study. I am Minister Marcus. I come on every Wednesday night just to encourage you guys. It is great to see y'all. I have some good news and some bad news. I don't know, some of y'all may take it good or bad. But this is the last Bible study for the year. Normally, what I do is I give myself a chance in the summertime, a couple of weeks to really just kind of refocus, enjoy time with my family. So I take about maybe 2 or 3 weeks off in the summertime from Bible study. And then we come back strong again in August when school starts back up. And so I kind of do the same thing at the end of the year, like towards December. I take December, like the last couple of weeks leading into the 1st of January, maybe the second week. And I just kind of focus on family. I give me some rest, and so, I'm only human. So, for those of you who are enjoying the Bible study, you can go to our website and you can become an online member. I do periodically post things for those of you who do follow. So, even though this is going to be my last Wednesday until January, you can still go to the website. You can catch the different posts. You can also catch the Sunday morning sermon. I do go live on Sundays and I do record that for those of you who are our online members. So with that, guys, I'm gonna just go right into the Bible study. It's great to see you guys on another Wednesday night. I hope I see some of y'all on our online on the online in the online community. Go check that out, man. There's some a couple of good things on there. When you become a member, I got a message for you and some different things that we have coming up for next year in 2021. All right. So tonight, as you know, we have been going through the Bible. We have been going through since Genesis. We started. This is the fifth month, so we are in Deuteronomy. Tonight is going to be our last lesson in Deuteronomy. When we come back in January, we're going to come back in Joshua. But tonight, we are in Deuteronomy chapter 28, and I'm going to read verse number 9 through 13. It's great to see you guys once again. Let's go. So I'm reading out of this is a New Living Translation, but this Bible is called LB for light and bright. Yeah, I name my Bibles. All right. So tonight we're going Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse number 9 through 13. All right. And I got three things for you tonight, and then I'm going offline, and hopefully you guys get a chance to enjoy your family like I am. Okay. But let's go right into it. Deuteronomy chapter 28. We're going to start at verse number 9. It says, "The Lord will establish you as his holy people, and he promised you on oath, if you keep the commandments of the Lord your God and walk in his ways, then all the people on the earth will see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they will fear you. The Lord will grant you abundant prosperity in the fruit of your womb, the young of your livestock, and the crops of your ground in the land he swore to your forefathers to give you. The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season, and to bless all the work of your hands. You will lend to many nations, but will not borrow from none." Verse 13, "The Lord will make you the head and not the tail. If you pay attention to the commands of the Lord your God that I give you this day and carefully follow them, you will always be at the top, never at the bottom." All right. And so from that, I got three things for you tonight. And hopefully, something I say tonight will greatly bless you or encourage you. All right. So, for those of you that do know who have been following along, you can go back and kind of walk yourself up where we are in Deuteronomy. But here in Deuteronomy, Moses is restating the terms of the covenant to give this new generation the opportunity to accept God. And so what we have been doing, we've been following Israel from Egypt all the way to the promised land. And so this generation is not the same generation that came out of Egypt. This is not the same generation that saw God part the Red Sea. So this is the next generation after that generation. And so here what we have in Deuteronomy is Moses is restating the terms of the covenant to give this new generation an opportunity to accept God. And so, in essence, what God is doing is God is attempting to begin a relationship with this new generation. And so, I see it as as kind of what he did with me and you. For those some of you who are watching tonight, I know God based on what my grandfather told me, based on what my dad told me. Raised in church, you going to church every Sunday, you going to Sunday school. You got Bible study, all this stuff throughout the week, and so I only knew of God what they had told me about God. But as I got older, and start to kind of live life for myself, it got to the point where it was like God was trying to reach out to me personally. And so this is kind of what God is doing. He is attempting to begin a relationship with this new generation. And so I want to ask you a question tonight. Could it be while you're working to be more religious that God is working to build a better relationship with you? And that's where I want to start at. This is our number one. Our number one is maybe you're focused on being religious while God is focusing on building a relationship. And so here's the number one. Number one is work at building a better relationship with God. I want to stress that. Work at building a better relationship with God. And I want you to get this. It's good to start back going to church. I want you to start back going to church, but also start praying more at home and allowing God some time in your day. I want to ask you a question. I know a whole lot of people make it a point to go to church every Sunday, but not a whole lot of people make it a point to give God 5 to 7 minutes out of their day every single morning or every single afternoon or every single night. And so I want to stress that religion means nothing without relationship. And so if you're not working on building a relationship, it could be possible that all your religious activities are for nothing. And so that's number one. Number one, focus on building a better relationship with God. I'm talking about designate a place and a time that you specifically talk to God. And here's what I like to ask Christians, especially those who say that they are so close to God. I can ask how many days out of the week do you talk to your girlfriend? Do you talk to your boyfriend? How many days out of the week do you talk to your best friend? And then when I ask them how many days out of the week do they talk to God, right? They say, I need to do better. I need to talk to him more. And my response to that is, how can you have a relationship with someone who you never talk to? You have that long distance relationship. But this is why this is number one. Work to build a better relationship with God, because what God does normally, most of the time, is He's trying to reach out to you because He wants some intimate time. Maybe what you think that you're missing is not actually what you're missing in your life. I know a lot of people that think that they're missing a spouse, that something is missing, there's a void in their life. Could it be that it's possible that maybe God created the void in your life because He wants to fill that void with His presence? And sometimes we overlook that, or we miss that, or we go chasing after things that we don't really need. But this is why I want to stress number one. Work at building a better relationship with God. Sometimes what your life is missing is nothing more than a spiritual connection with God. Everything is not physical, right? Everything is not mental. But sometimes there are some needs that are inside of you, right? That come on the outside and you think it's one thing, but really it could be something else. So here's number one. Work at building a better relationship with God. All right, so that's number one. And so here in Deuteronomy is all about Moses bringing this new generation to understand God's covenant. This generation had not agreed to the terms of the covenant that God gave with the generation before them. And so I want to point this out to you. For those of you that are trying to learn God a little bit better, when you read the Bible, one thing that you will learn about God throughout the Bible is that God deals with people through covenants. If you don't know what a covenant is, think of a covenant as a contract or a contractual agreement. An oral contractual agreement is where God gives His word, and then in turn, He asks for their word or for your word. And so this is what you'll see throughout the Bible. That God, he'll start a relationship with somebody. This is what He did with Abraham. He did a covenant with Abraham. Same thing with Moses. He did a covenant with Moses, with the children of Israel. God works through covenants. It's a contractual agreement. So what makes the covenant work, and so I want you to follow me, what makes the covenant work is the integrity of both parties keeping their word. And so in other words, it's God saying, I'm going to do this for you as long as you do this. It's a contractual agreement. Its integrity is the basis for God's relationship with Israel. And this is what He says to them. This is what we read. As long as you do, then I'll do. Their favor and blessings are dependent on whether or not they can keep their word. This brings us to number 2. One word, integrity. It is based on their integrity. And let me ask you a question. What if God was to say to you, as long as, and this in essence, this is what he's saying, as long as you keep your word to me, I'll keep my word to you. But this is our problem, right? Our problem, that's number 2, is integrity. Our problem is that we want God's blessings and favor to remain consistent while our actions are inconsistent, right? While our actions fluctuate, our commitment fluctuates, right? We all know that God is faithful and that he can be trusted. But the question is, can you be faithful and can you be trusted? That's number 2, integrity. You say you trust God, but can God say that he can trust you? And this is what I say. When I say integrity, I want you to think in terms of, will your actions prove or disprove your words? This is what I say. When I say integrity, will your actions prove or disprove your words? Because if your actions disprove your words, it's a good chance that you don't have a high level of integrity. And I want you to get it, because this is what God says to them. When you get to the land, it's going to be a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be good stuff. It's going to be better stuff than what you have right now. But I want you to make sure you maintain some certain things. Do you agree? And they say yes. And I want to stress that, right? Because this is when we talk about integrity. This number 2. It's easy to agree when it's convenient, but when your actions hold to it when it's inconvenient. Look, I know a whole lot of people, right, that's divorced right now because on the day of the wedding, it was real convenient. You got all the people, you dressed up in a nice suit, she looking nice, you looking nice, you got all the witnesses around. It's convenient, right? And so you can say I do when it's convenient, but what about the days when she might not be looking as fly, when you might not be looking as fly, when you don't look, here it is, when you don't have all those people around you, right? Will your actions prove or disprove your words? And this is what I like to ask Christian people, because look, I know we love to come to church, and I got you. I like going to church too. Some churches, let me stress that, some churches, because some churches, anyway. So it's good. It's good, right? It's good. It's good to go to church, and I love it. I like to play the bass. I like to jam. But the question becomes, when you leave church, when it's inconvenient and you're not around all the witnesses, will your actions prove or disprove what you said at church? And it's the thing that God kept his word to Israel, but they didn't keep their word to God. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. But there have been times where I said, God, if you just get me out of this, I promise you, I won't do it no more. Only for him to get me out, right? And guess what? My actions did. Come on, I want y'all to be real with me tonight. My actions disproved what my words said. And it's my question. Can God trust you? We're talking about integrity. Will your actions prove or disprove your words? And most of the time when it comes to God, it don't. And look, this is why some people's relationships don't work, because they say one thing, but then they do something else. And here's my question: can God trust you? You know what? Let me bring it home a little bit. Can I trust you? Right? If I give you $5, can I trust you with the 5? I just want to know: can I trust you? Not God, but can I trust you? Can people trust you to do good business? Can people trust you to be honest? Are you a person of your word, or are you just one of those people that say what needs to be said in the moment and then come on, I want to ask you, what is your level of integrity? And this is what it is. I want you to hear me when I say this. God said, as long as you do, I'll do. It's based on whether or not you can keep your word to God. And you know what? I like to stress this in every single relationship, friendship, partnership, business deal. The first question I ask God is, can I trust him? I just want to know, can I trust him? Can I trust him? Can I trust him? It's easy to make a decision when it's convenient, but when it's inconvenient, that's when you really see. And this is what God is saying to them. There is going to be times where sin is going to be convenient for you. It's going to be right in your face. But will you hold fast to what you told me when you was at Mount Sinai? And this is my question. What is your level of integrity? What makes Job a Bible champion is not what he went through. It's about that while he was going through it, his integrity stayed. Come on, I want you to hear me. His integrity stayed intact. His commitment to God was not based on his level of comfort. It wasn't like, as long as I'm comfortable, I'll stay committed. As long as convenient, I'll stay committed. As long as the conditions are okay, I'll stay committed. But why Job is a Bible champion is because when things weren't going right, he still did what was right. When things wasn't going right, he still did it. And this is my question to you tonight. What is your level of integrity? Or when conditions change, do your commitment change? And here's what I wanted to do before we close, before we conclude on number 2 tonight. Let's bring integrity back into our relationships with God. I want you to hear me when I say this. When you say stuff to God, don't think he don't hear you. He heard you. But my question is, will your actions prove or disprove what you told God? And here's the thing, and I'm going to say this and now I'll move on to number 3, that some of you are stopping your blessings. Some of you are blocking your blessings just because you have a low level of integrity. And so let's bring integrity back into our business deals. Let's bring integrity back into our marriages, into our relationships with our children. I want you to hear me when I say this. What is your level of integrity? All right, we're moving to number 3, and I'm almost done. The laws for the nation of Israel were designed for them to live out. And I want you to get this because later on in the New Testament, Jesus described these 2 laws. He says, all the laws and all the prophets can be hung on 2 laws. Number 1, love God and serve him the right way. So we already talked about that. But if you really look at the laws in Deuteronomy, it deals a lot with the way they deal with each other, the way they do business together, the way they pay their debts back, the way they go to court. It's centered around them treating each other the right way. I'm going to say it again. It's centered around how they love God, but then it's centered around how they love and treat one another. God gives them laws centered around treating their fellow man the right way, which brings me to number 3. And I want you to hear it. I want you to hear it. God cares about how you treat people. This is number 3. Number 3, and I'm done. God cares about how, I want you to say that. Say, God cares about how I treat people. God cares about how I talk to people. I want to put this on your mind tonight, that God is watching how you talk to the people around you. That God is watching how you treat the people around you, how you handle the people around you. It's echo. Look, you remember in the New Testament when Jesus is telling the story, and then he says to the young man, he says, when I was naked, you didn't give me clothes. When I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was in prison, you didn't come visit me. And the young man said, wait a minute, Lord, when were you ever in prison? When were you naked? When were you ever hungry? And then Jesus hits him with the revelation. Inasmuch as you have done it unto the least of these, you have done it unto me. And what it's saying is that God takes our actions towards our fellow humans personally. And this is what he says. As much as you've done to the least one of these, you've done it unto me. See, and this is what I get. This is what I want to stress, especially the church people, that many people get turned off to God, not because of God, but because of the people who claim to represent him, right? Not because of God. They don't have a problem with God, but they have a problem with people who claim to represent God, right? It is because we as Christians don't know how to treat people. And I want to stress this. Number 3, God cares about how you treat people. You know what? It's December, right? It's December, I know. And most of us, we saved all year, but we only nice during Christmas time. But in January, we go back to being saved but selfish. We go back to being saved but self-centered. I want you to hear me. Come on. Most of the time, what we do is we be nice around Easter and Christmas. And then the rest of that time we save, but we selfish and mean and self-centered. But here's what I want to stress tonight. If God is moving inside of you, it's going to show in the way you treat the people outside of you. And before I leave you tonight, I want you to know, I want to put this on your mind, that God has a way of fixing it so that whatever you put out has a way of finding itself back to you. Come on, say, I got to be careful how I treat people. You got to be careful how you treat people because God is watching you, and God has a way of fixing it so that whatever you put out has a way of finding itself. Y'all remember the scripture, give and it shall be given unto you. Press down, shaking together, and run it over. Then at the end of that verse, it says, with the same measure that you meet, it shall be measured to you. Come on, again, judge not that you be not judged, right? It speaks for itself. When you judge people, you got some judgment. Forgive as look. We say this prayer. Forgive us as we forgive our debtors. That's basically saying, forgive me, God, as I forgive those who owe me. right? And I want you to understand it, that God has a way. He has fixed it and designed it so that what you put out ends up coming back to you, and you got to be careful. He that is merciful shall obtain mercy. It's God's way of letting you know that what you dish out, it has a way of coming back. God fixed it so that it has a way of coming back. And here's my question before I leave you tonight. What if God treated you how you treated other people? What if God ignored you like you ignored other people? What if God took his anger out on you that was really meant for somebody else, like you do the people you live with at your house? Would that be fair? Would that be right? Would that be okay? What if God dealt with you based on how much money you had in the bank? And I want you to hear me. What if God did you like you did other people? And I want to stress this tonight before I go offline. God cares about how you treat people. So be careful, treat people right. All right, so that's all I got for you tonight. Listen, this is my last Bible lesson until January. Go to the website, please, so you can stay connected. I will be sending out reminders in January, but I'm gonna be taking the next 2 to 3 weeks off. So listen, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this collection 5 of the Maximize Your Life Bible study. We will be starting back in January, coming back into Joshua. But thanks for everybody that has tuned in, that has been a part of this season 5, collection 5. We're going into collection 6 again in January. Please go visit our website, www.thegodmovement.com. We do have shirts that we are selling for our ministry, right? And part of the part of the profits do go to help for our care package and whatnot. So if you don't want to just outright give, you can always buy one of the shirts that we have. I think the one we are selling now is Overcome the Adversity, or Overcome the Obstacle. So if you are interested in that, the information is on Facebook, or you can go to our website and you'll be able to access all of the information. I'm going to be putting up links and stuff. So guys, please go check out our website. Stay connected to our ministry, www.thegodmovement.com. I also load up the things that I do on Sunday morning. So if you want to catch a word, you can't make it to church on Sunday, you can always go to the website and you can catch you a quick sermon right quick, pop your earbuds in and let it bless your life. So with that, guys, I'm going off. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in January. Much love. Thank y'all once again. I'll see y'all later. Good night. And good night on Facebook. I love you guys. Good night, TGM Television.